What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Voice, and you're here for another episode of the Facts Project. Today, we are going to be talking to Christopher Curtis. We're here to talk about Jazz, Juggernauts against Zealots, Issue 3. Thank you for being here again, brother.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, man. Look, so to get right into this, first, I got to acknowledge you because I remember when we talked about the first issue of this book, and now to talk about pretty much the run that you've been on as of late. With this year, you already had Good Blood Money issue 1 that dropped in January 2025. Literally 2 months before that, you had Dream Match Revolution issue 1 that dropped funded. And then, of course, all these particular issues, whether it was issue 0, 1, 2, and now 3 of this particular comic. So all within the span of maybe around like a couple of months. I'm gonna say a year and a couple months. You've been doing your thing, so I got to give you credit, kudos to that already.
Oh, I thank you. It's been it's tiring. I won't do that again. It's very stressful. Um, it was very high octane,
Yeah,
but I was able to push them out, and I'm much better for it.
absolutely, man. Look, so to get right into this, we talked about the fact, and we'll get into this story because the one thing that we've always had an opportunity to talk about, particularly when it came to this story, is how intricate it is to certain particular things that you put in here. For one, it's about the city of New Neo Haven, the residents that live in fear because of the constant mysterious monster portals that are randomly tearing through the city. But yet, this, if you want to call them a ragtag group, or but better yet, a more advanced group of misfits, or better yet, as you call them, juggernauts, against zealots, are able to be called to action, but they all have their particular demons. Now, if you want to, if you can, enlighten us again on the team.
Sure. So the team it does consist of five friends. One being Killswitch, Killswitch, Nova, Beatz, Hex, and Mute. Mute is a cyborg that is it's more of a herald for Hex. Hex is the engineer of Jazz. Beats is the sound sound power user. I forgot what I called him because forgive me, I'm losing my memory because I just had tacos
It's okay,
and
man.
oh, sound bomber. So
Right.
he's what I call it. I call a sound bomber. Um, Nova is the pugilist brick of the team, so she
Mhm.
thinks about punching first, questions last. And Killswitch is more of the more tame, um, novel type character who's trying to keep everybody situated. She's like Big Mama of the group,
Got you.
of this little friend group. But they all have one common goal, and the one common goal is to solve the mystery of these portals and to stop any type of government overreach that may or may not be attached to this investigation.
Now, I do remember us talking the last time about issue 2 about a particular beacon that happens to be harnessed by one of the members of Jazz, and better yet, how that could possibly be somewhat of a prolonged signal that's calling out to these monsters over a period of time through these portals.
Yep, yep, we did. And no,
Yep,
no, well, actually, it was more like you just guessed
I
something
did.
that's way off in the future, and I was like, oh wow, maybe I am. I'm a lot more transparent than I thought I was.
Yeah. And I remember, of course, asking the distinct questions about Byron Flint and his particular involvement with jazz. Now, if you could discuss that briefly, because he is he's the mayor of Neo Haven,
Yeah, and like some people have been like,
or
do
governor,
mayors
I'm
have?
sorry.
Well, no, it's mayor.
Mhm.
People have been like, do mayors even have that kind of power? And I'm like, well, this is more of one of those. Um, Mayor is a term of leadership in this world, but there is a short connection. One of the members of Jazz has a parental figure, Hex's father, who works
Mhm.
for the New Haven government, and is one that joined solely to help protect Neo Haven. Unwillingly, his technology may be unsavory, not really against his will. He doesn't have much involvement in it, and that's gonna develop over time.
Now, also outside of some of the cliffhangers that were happening in issue 2, Governor Byron was pretty much called to a higher power, almost like a high council, and briefing him on the situation of the portals that were happening in the city. Now, this kind of brought up like a new dynamic to where it was like, okay, just because he's the mayor of the city doesn't mean that he's basically running everything. There's like almost this weird Illuminati-esque council that he pretty much answers to.
Yeah, um, they are a sort of cabal.
Ah.
It's what that was supposed to entail is that your leadership is never running on its own leg, and that's like for anything, whether it be congressmen, presidents, anything like that. There's always somebody who they answer to, and so when you think like, okay, well, he's clearly the one who's in charge of it.
Yeah.
That was to let you know that it's something much bigger, and Jazz just happens to be a thorn in their side.
Are they like more so portraying like a almost like a Elon type character?
Well, any type of leadership, definitely Elon type character.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more akin to a Thanos level where they are a communication between somebody else, and
Mm.
so you kind of get a feel for that, especially in three coming up.
Dang. Now, also even outside of that sort of thing is because there was so much going on in issue 2. That's particularly happening to Byron Flint. But yet, all the while, Killswitch is kind of like doing like an espionage mission, who's investigating just pretty much inside the building about some of the government data that she was trying to seek and everything like that. But yet at the end of that particular issue, she's attacked by Byron Flint's chief of staff. But then it turns out that they know each other.
Yeah, so they are half sisters, but sisters nonetheless.
Daddy's kid?
If yes, dad messed around.
Okay, got you.
Dad was was a high level military captain, and um right after Killswitch's mom had passed to a due to a sudden illness, which will come back up later. She had found out that he had an outside kid, and so when he was under scrutiny, when it all came to light, he decided to bring his kids together, and that was only beneficial for one person, and that was Prisma, who just wanted to have a sibling, and Keisha, Killswitch, did not want anything to do with that. And
Mm.
so, and later on in the series, you will see a little bit of that backstory about how they grew up and how uh, Keisha was very cold to the whole idea of it, and that's why they have that kind of love hatred in the prison time. But yes, Prisma uh, found her sister once again,
Yeah.
and now in this chapter, you get to see the big reunion, big family reunion. It's not even the actual big one. It's just kind of like the hey, this is my introduction. Um, I hope you guys enjoy it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it comes to find out that like I mean the name Prisma from basically Blanca Rosario Connor, like all of a sudden she has an alias. So the thing is, has dad not only had the ability to uh train Killswitch when she was young, or better yet, has he ever even known her? And now with Prisma is like almost as like the childlike assassin that actually got most of the training.
Well, Dad did not train her at all. She ended up running over to the Neo Haven military
Mm.
as a way to get away from Keisha because it was just unbearable to even live with her. But if you remember in Jazz 2, there was the illusion that she may have gotten her abilities from the Neo Haven government. So it kind of opens
Ah.
up. Originally, it was told
Yep.
that Hex was the engineer for Jazz for all their abilities, and so that Hex is the only one that can manifest portal monsters and apply these abilities to people. But in Jazz 2, you see that there's another way to do it, and it was kind of like a small window before the big reveal.
Mm. Now, I almost felt like once this particular, I guess, fight started to happen between Prisma and Killswitch, I was like, damn, he might have gave somebody the wrong name because Prisma was pretty much shutting off everybody's powers.
Well, yes and no. Prisma's powers are, um, for lack of better words, they're all color based,
Mm,
and um, she has her power set is due based on the amount of a specific color value that a user has. So Killswitch predominantly wears black, which means
hmm.
that Killswitch's color coding would be black. Black is the heaviest color on the prismatic scale.
Yeah.
So she is rendered the heaviest option object at the time. So she's immovable right now. She's immobilized, can't move, knocked out. In one of the previews for Jazz 3, you see that Nova is sprinting towards Prisma in the attempts to just knock her out because she thinks that she's just a weak pencil pusher, and it's something that she has said in Jazz 1 about her.
Hmm.
And um Nova's color set, which we're gonna have to um figure out how to portray that better. Um, but her color set is red, and
Mm.
red is the color of a passionate person, also somebody who is overly emotional, somebody who's also berserk. So she's in a shutdown state, but she won't be shut down for long, and
Mm.
that's where we're gonna end chapter 3. But when the others come in, you'll definitely see that they're no match for this villain that they kind of put off to the side.
So is the only way to actually like surface or find a weakness is to figure out an opposite spectrum in order for her to like be confused by it and better yet detained?
No, not in this case. Damn, you making me want to pull up the old script. Um, for her, she seems invincible, and the only way to really beat her is to not even do an like don't even do a negative, don't even try to accent colors with her or powers with her. There's only one way to really beat her, and she kind of gives off a small hint when she talks to Killswitch in chapter 3, and the eagle-eyed person will look at it and realize, oh, well, that's going to be easy. If not, you'll see it in the next couple chapters, and then you'll go, oh, well, that's okay, I get that. But she only has one real weakness, and it's
Mm.
glaring her right in the face.
Now, if I'm looking at this correctly, just by looking through the Kickstarter summary, you have in these rewards two distinct new covers, and does it look like I'm looking at brand new characters, Lemon and no Nomino, or is that Nomino?
Those are the artists who did the
Ah,
artwork.
okay. I thought they were brand new characters. I was like, what? Nah, because they look cool, man. So who basically like who put these together?
Lemon, who I forgot how I found him. I found him last year. He was on the very first thing that he did for me was Dream Match 1.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and keep you on the team. And then I actually found Nomino randomly on Twitter. I wasn't even looking for anything, and somebody had retweeted something that had retweeted something, and I just was curious, and I went on his page and was like, oh, you want to do some work? And he was like, sure. And then we kept him on the team as well. So no, it's just those two. Um,
Okay.
I did a poll last time
Yeah.
and was asking people like, hey, like, what's your preferred favorite character in Jazz? And uh, Mute was number one,
Mute
and
was
Nova
number
was
one.
number two. Mute was People love Mute, and I found that really funny. Considering I thought Killswitch would have been number one.
See, it's always the lovable character, man.
Oh well, they might not like him in this one.
Okay, then never mind. So, between this project in Dream Match Revolution, you've had the dynamic teamwork to work with Ash Kahari. Um, how has that dynamic been working going through like from this particular story doing and going into a whole brand new story with Dream Match Revolution?
Um, we so when she wanted to take over for Jazz, I didn't realize how emblazoned she was with the idea of working with me. And it took me until we finished Jazz 2 to realize like, okay, wait a minute, you want to do something else, like you want to do something like do something serious. So that's how we came up with Dream Match, which if you remember, I told you prior,
Yeah.
um, Dream Match is almost in the same wheelhouse of thought that I had when I first designed what is now Tap or Die.
Yep.
So Dream Match is like the like original concept that I had fleshed out prior, and then that's it is what it is right now. We went from doing art to doing books. She even flew up here to Indiana and stayed with me for a convention
Wow.
that was going on for the weekend. So we were able to table at my first convention, and I had a really good time trying to like get the whole ins and outs. And we during the convention we were able to network with other select buyers and saw the whole audience. And we now realize, oh, we need to go make a different story ASAP. And that's what we're doing this year. Which hopefully that might be my new flagship. Uh, Better than Jazz. And that's the only way that's the only thing that I can say right now is just hashtag better than Jazz.
Got you. Now, normally you don't see that in the indie world. For the most part, you'll get the writers that usually go to cons and everything like that, and they're having the ability to table. But to actually have the artist that's on the project. Matter of fact, where is Ash from?
Ash is from France. She's from France. She's lived in Canada. She now resides in Mexico with her wife Vice, who was the artist for Good Blood Money.
Oh, okay. Had no idea.
Yeah, I had two projects last year, and it was both Good Blood Money and Dream Match, and I was like, I want to do both. If I don't know which one to give to which one, so I shot the idea of Good Blood Money to Vice, thinking that she was gonna turn it down, and she
Right.
instantly was like, "When can we start?" And I was like, "Oh, you want to start now?" And had already begun, which was awesome. And so I was like, "Hey, Ash, you want to do Dream Match?" And Dream Match is such a uplifting type story that she felt really connected to, and was able to pinpoint a lot of the emotions that it needed. So it's right now, Dream Match is my favorite story that we've ever done.
Dang. Now, see, now I'm wondering, I'm catching a little bit of envy because of the fact that you've been able to catch lightning in a bottle, not only from the artist that you had in the beginning in Ash, but yet in the same household, you were able to get Vice.
Oh man, no, well, see, she was. I can't say this yet, but she when she came to me and we spoke face to face for the whole weekend, she was able to get a lot of her talking points
Hmm.
um clearer because through like messages or whatnot, I'm kind of an airhead. But when someone's right in front of me, it's so much easier. So look at her eye to eye, and like looking at somebody who has such like longevity in the game, and her being like, hey, while I have your attention right now, we need to be doing XYZ immediately, like this. And I'm sitting there going like, you know what, I've seen you work all weekend. Yeah, you're right. Like, but if you had told me that like online, I'd have been like, I don't know. And
Hmm.
so sometimes I have to be physically punched in the mouth to do anything, and she will give you the punch in the mouth.
Heard that. Now, as of late, you've been able to expand your writing portfolio because you've actually joined Substack in order to have a means and a ways to push out a lot more of your ideas out there in social media wise. What made you want to pretty much do a project where like it's like a almost like a social writing project as Substack is? What made you want to do that?
Substack has a comic sub audience
It
for
does.
people that
Yep.
want to, yeah. So when I find things that are tailored towards that, I'll run to it, even if it's not congruent with like what I do. I at least want to be around people who are looking for what I'm doing
Hmm.
versus me sitting in open spaces hoping for someone to be into what I'm doing.
Wow. Now, also again, as of late, you've had an opportunity to talk about criticisms that you might have had about the indie manga space, preferably about the Monsters We Make campaign. Now, if you can touch on that a little bit, because I saw a little bit of it of what you were talking about.
Oh man, I want to. I'll start off by saying I have no ill will
Yeah,
towards
sure.
Corey Kenshin. A lot of my high school students love Corey Kenshin because
Yeah.
that's his audience. They've actually brought me his book when they first got it. I
Hmm.
was able to like thumb through it. I liked how it looked. Even one of them even like shouted me out on his YouTube page and in the in the comments.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, it's wild to have that kind of connection, and I'm happy for him. But I really feel like people are missing a lot of concept and content when it comes to how he does things
Yeah.
with what he does. He came out and he released a full volume one indie manga to a YouTube audience of his, and a lot of people in the indie manga space was like, got you. So we need to go become YouTubers, or we need to do this to be able to go do that. And I'm
Right.
like, no, Corey has made it clear from the jump that he wants to go to anime. So he figured, and it backfired right in front of him. But he figured with his popularity that if he just has a volume of a manga, he can just go and like hashtag or like grab the attention of like actual anime studios in Japan.
Yeah.
And he did that on Twitter and was like, hey, I want to make a make anime. And the Japanese studios make anime for the Japanese audiences, they don't make anime for the global audience.
Hmm.
So them looking, they're like nah. And they, probably just quietly give it a like, or probably gave it a snide comment and be like, oh well, we'll see. But they did not want to. So, but people still see him as so successful in a way. I do too. But I don't want people to look at that and think like that works for me as well, because people will
Hmm.
look at other people and feel and realize, oh, that might be the next move, and it's really not.
Right. Now, for those that don't know, like, what would you say? How would you describe the indie manga space? Because you've obviously been in that world for a long time.
As of last year, or I think whenever me and Ash did that YouTube live, we are no longer in the indie manga space.
Mm,
I have dropped it. Um, it was it was mud going through it. It was mud going through it because when you I mean, like, you can clearly annotate anything as it's supposed to be.
yeah.
But when you look around your whole surroundings, you realize that a lot of people who make any manga don't make manga in the exact sense that the Japanese would make it, which will make it relatable to the Japanese. They just kind of take the art form and then they make a Western version of it, and the Western version never has a clear, concise story element that is relatable to the Japanese.
Yeah.
Um, for one, and then for two, it was really hard to sell the idea of manga to people who don't like manga because they have pre notions of what manga is, and
Hmm.
that was just headbanging because it's like, you like wrestling, why the fuck do you not like this?
Hmm.
Why is Dream Match so hard? Why is Good Blood Money so hard? So when I dropped the moniker, um only in the West. I only drop it in the West. When I do like international whatnot, I call it what it is. But for
Yeah.
like Western audiences, I call it a comic book because if that helps you to not have the stupid notions for it, then so be it. But um any manga itself is they move without focus, without any sense of direction, any sense of standard. And they just make it a club where it's like, looky, we all like Oda, we all like Kishimoto, and we all make things that we find fun and relatable. But like in the whole grand scheme of things, you're not moving the needle until you start making a like American standard. And
Hmm.
that's where Ansel Gold is doing. They're the ones who are making Mana, which is their version of the American manga. Um, they've gotten that in front of actual Japanese practitioners who have agreed in private to work with, Ansel Gold
Hmm.
to making Mana, recognizable in that country, which would help them make a global stance. So while they're doing that, people in the indie manga space are like, "You no, just call it manga, just call it OEL. We don't need to have this and that and third." And it's like, well, you kind of do if you want to get serious. So,
Right.
and this is short. Any manga is a playhouse, a playpen, and I can't be a part of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at it the other way around, like it's called K-pop, it's not called pop because pop is
Yeah,
the Americanized commercialized music. K-pop is Korean commercialized music, very up tempo and everything like that. So the thing is, yeah, when you're describing something as American manga, they're absolutely correct. You can't just detail something as manga if there's a particular language difference to it, if there's particular dynamics to it that are more Americanized than what the Japanese, of course, are putting it in theirs. So it's almost come to the point is what what necessarily is more distinctive that makes American manga American manga?
when you read American manga, you could really seek out who's a enthusiast of the craft and not a actual creator of the craft.
Hmm.
American manga tends to take what they like from Japanese media and then throw away the rest. And
Got you.
when you do things like that, you are hurting the art form by not allowing it to be exactly how it's supposed to be bloomed. A lot of people don't like um the sexy panty shots. They don't like the Masaroshis.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't like the overly crying uh child protagonist characters in manga or anime. And so when they make their version, it's always like, let me just pick out these things real quick because I don't like them. And it's like, well, you're not making for things that you like. You're making things that are generally for people who like this. So you have to, in some fashion, either included or you need to have the illusion that it happens, but you don't get to go and be like, oh, I hate this kind of stuff, so I don't do it, because that's not what manga is, and they have a standard for that kind of thing in some of their storytelling. So
For sure.
American manga, it's not there yet, and I hope with some of the standards we can make it something that's recognizable.
Word. Word. Well, bro, what is it? I believe I was able to fit in what 5 days left in the campaign for Jazz 3. And I always feel like well, of course you already hit your campaign goal. So congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as what you've talked about going forth in this book, in this particular book, and how this series is going to get molded out, how far more are we to go?
We are looking at the end of the first volume pretty
Yeah,
soon.
I figured that was
Um,
coming.
yeah, it's matter of fact, if I'm gonna spoil anything, it's after the next chapter. The next chapter is going to be um basically, well, actually, no, the next chapter, the actual next campaign is going to be the first volume.
Volume.
And
Mm,
so we are going to go back. I see that you have Jazz Zero behind you.
I do.
I'm gonna tell you right now that that's about to become lost media because I quit selling those a while ago.
Man, that is a collector's item, man.
At this point, it is
Yeah.
because we are redoing it. We are redoing Chapter Zero in Ash's art. We are taking a little bit of the key changes that I did for between Jazz Zero and Jazz One,
Okay.
and then they'll be sold in a I think in a graphic novel state, so in like a much bigger book. Next campaign,
Oh,
so
okay.
you will be looking at getting a full on collector's book, complete with the redone Zero and a couple of other extra page goodies that people should enjoy. So that's I don't know when that one's coming.
Hmm.
I'm planning that one out right now, but it might be sooner than later. It might be later than sooner.
Perfect, man. Well, bro, it's always good to have you here. Always good to talk about this book. Can't wait for the volume, especially the fact that Ash gets a chance to like basically put her touches on issue 0 going all the way into issue 3. so that way it's a more so complete volume for everybody out there to reading it. So I always wish you the best. I can't wait for Dream Match Revolution 2. And we will talk about this again.
I thank you. Do you have Dream Match?
I ordered it. I'm waiting for it.
Oh, when'd you order it?
When the campaign was out. Yeah, I've been waiting on it.
You might need to go back and
Yeah,
was there a survey?
I believe there was a survey. If it is, and if I missed it, that's my fault. But I will look for it, and I'll let you
I
know.
will look right after this.
All right, my man. All right. So for everybody here at the Facts Project, Christopher Curtis, of course, Juggernauts against Zealous. Zealots has about like 4 or 5 days left in the campaign. So
Yeah.
of course, add to it. Of course, if there's stretch goals out there, you have the ability to basically get to that, and of course, he will get these books in your hands. So for everybody here at the Facts Project, myself, James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, Christopher Curtis, and we are out.